one of my highlights, one of the most exciting things that we did was when we changed that Trace Orange to Trace Naija.
Yeah.
Right? I knew we had to do it. Right? At that time, where Afrobeats was starting to really hum, people were really getting interested around the world. And this is 10 years ago, so it's very different than today. I knew that the pride that we had in being Naija, even though we may complain about our country, we complain about so many things, that we love being Naija. And Trace Urban, we called it. And I was like, come on, man, I want this thing to be like something we can love. And there was a lot of fear. A lot of people were very worried that it was just going to scatter everything. I wanted to make sure that we said we are Afrobeats. I wanted to make sure that we had just small pidgin, you know, in the voicing, and it worked incredibly well. Once we did that, it people identified a lot more. It felt like, you know, at that point people started saying, oh, do you that means you must have an office here. We're like, we've been here now. We've been here. And then that we are Afrobeats, I fought for that a lot. It landed me on Netflix and all these other ones in the documentaries about Afrobeats, you know, because true, we've been really a part of the story of the growth of Afrobeats.
Hi people, welcome to another beautiful episode of the Cafe One Pod. I'm so sure that this is going to be my favorite episode so far, because off camera, I've had like the longest conversation. I've had the most laughs. There's so much that's been going on off camera, but I think this is a good point to just introduce our guest. But before that, remember, like, share, follow right now.
Come on.
Yeah. Hi, Sam.
Hi
welcome.
there.
Welcome to the Cafe
One
Pod.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was a good weekend. It was my first weekend after a long, very quiet summer.
Okay. Summer is
interesting. Summer is relative. When kids are out of school.
Okay.
Out of boarding school.
Yeah.
That ain't be their summer. So they were at home, sucking every possible energy out of you as a dad. But it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, amazing. Love it. Lovely. So let's get to meet you, because I didn't give our guest any context. I just said Sam, and like
how was summer?
So let's get to meet Sam. Sam, tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us what you do, who you are.
Sure.
Who you want to be in the future.
Oh, I get the future. I don't often get that question. Well, my name is Sam Onyemelukwe. I sometimes go by Samo because of that last name. Let's get right to the meat of the matter. Yes, I am Nigerian. Yes, I am mixed. Yes, my mom is white. Is it okay? You okay, ba?
I know you get that question a lot. I know that's the first thing, like, because we are so curious as a people. Like, we, even if you don't get it as like words, you get it in the mix cycle.
Oh yeah. I find that I've recently started to get offended by it sometimes.
Really?
Especially where I was at the airport, and not even international airport, local airports. And immigration came to me and said, "Show me your passport." And I said, you know, and I realized I was actually offended because they decided I wasn't Nigerian. You know?
Yeah, just because you're fair skin. That's something.
Because I'm yellow. That's what they do me. So I'm in entertainment. I work with Trace TV. I'm the MD of Trace in Nigeria, and you know, I do those entertainment things. That's my thing. Yeah,
amazing, lovely, very lovely to meet you. I remember growing up and watching Trace. Actually, I remember when Trace,
that's good.
I remember when Trace became like a channel on DSTV. I actually remember.
Really?
I don't remember the time because I was really young.
Sure.
I don't remember the exact date.
Of
but
course.
I know, like they were the cooler version of. Let me not name names.
No, say it too.
What?
Me, I'll tell you. We're the cooler version of MTV.
Channel O.
I'll leave it like that because the other guys are my friends.
Yeah, so I remember I hope I don't sound old by mentioning Channel O, because Channel O was it went extinct at a point. I don't even know what happened to that company, but I really do remember when Trace became a thing. The orange color, like it was such a thing. I remember very vividly. So it's really so nice to have you seated here, and I can't wait for you to share with us like that journey, that whole process, and you know, let's see the people that built what we now know as Trace. So working in entertainment, I know it's very demanding, but it's also glamorous at the same time, right? The glam is nice, and we can already see what happens like in front of the cameras.
Sure.
But how would you describe your time building and leading up to the point becoming the MD of Trace?
You know, so we did talk about this a little bit off camera, and I personally am not a glam type. I don't dislike it. I you know, occasionally will dress up and go on black or carpet or whatever and have a good time. But I've always been very focused on it's the most boring thing ever, but on efficiency. Because to me, even in an entertainment company, right, which like you said, there's a lot of glamorous aspects to it, a lot of it's in front of the camera, a lot of it's making hype, getting people excited about what you do. Still, 95% of what you do is repeated. It's the same thing, right? For you, making this podcast happen, you know, it's a lot of work.
Yep.
People, it's not easy. Don't just think you just take camera and do.
And just put mic in front of you and start talking.
But still, 95% of that same. Scheduling people, making sure your recording equipment's there, everything's ready to go, you know, all of that stuff. So for me, it's almost the least sexy parts of entertainment which have given me an advantage.
Yeah, you know, we were speaking about this off camera about yes, media looks like it's fun, but at the same time, there's still all these corporate jargons in entertainment. There's still the spreadsheets.
Oh yeah.
Still the KPIs.
Oh yeah.
Still the ROIs.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of corporate lingo.
And interesting enough, it's actually, like I said, for me, it's been an advantage. For you, it can be an advantage. And I you know, in entertainment, I always say, one of the ways I say it is this: it's the music business, not just music. Music is just the studio, but the music business part is a whole thing.
And as somebody that stayed a while in the industry, you're definitely more focused on the business part of it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, money has to be made. Money has to be made, and beyond money being made, I believe that it is more about building sustainability.
100%.
Yeah, so just knowing that you're building processes that work, you're building systems that work, systems that can scale. If there is any need to have a Trace Antarctica, for instance. Yeah.
That was the next place. How did you know? No, I think I would like to say something to that, because I believe that this podcast is for those who want to learn more about business.
Yeah.
You know, I used to hate those words, structure, process. As one, especially even till today, I still struggle with strategy, because there are these words you hear, buzzwords, and it's like, what does this actually mean? And that one thing I like to clarify about structure and process, it's connected to what I just said. It's that you're doing the same activity all the time, right? If you have you're selling clothes online, is it not to call the delivery guy, have him pick up, go and deliver, make sure the person has paid? You know, all of those steps are the same over and over. So if you're spending any extra effort doing those things, rather than it just being a step by step process, then you're on a long thing. That's the structure we're talking about.
Okay, great. So it's really just establishing a routine that works.
Yeah.
Building efficiency in a routine.
Simple.
Okay, so even in the big rules, it still boils down to the little things.
Ultimately, it's the same. Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah.
So let's speak more about Trace. Are there any exciting projects that you worked on? What's your highlights? What's that thing? You know, I don't know if you watch Big Brother, but I do. I do.
I get my weekly updates on Big Brother.
So when you are out of the house, they will show you your time at the Big Brother house. So if we were to see Samu's time at Trace, you're still there. But like if we were to see Samu's time at Trace, what do you think would be in your highlights?
Well, you know, you said you remember when Trace became popular. So one of my highlights, one of the most exciting things that we did was when we changed that Trace Orange to Trace Naija,
Yeah.
right? And I knew we had to do it, right? At that time, we were, Afrobeats was starting to really hum. People were really getting interested around the world, and this is 10 years ago, so it's very different than today. And I knew that the pride that we had in being Naija, even though we may complain about our country, we complain about so many things, that we love being Naija. And Trace Urban, we called it. And I was like, come on, man, I want this thing to be like something we can love. And there was a lot of fear. A lot of people were very worried that it was just going to scatter everything. I wanted to make sure that we said we are Afrobeats. I wanted to make sure that we had just small pigeon, in the voicing, and it worked incredibly well.
I have to agree. Yeah, I have to agree, because there's something about creating for a local market. You have to identify with your market.
Boom.
Yeah, you have to. So if you're coming and you're saying urban, I don't think, to be fair, now that I remember, I'm like, why was the name actually Trace Urban? Because urban is not a word that is used here.
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
It doesn't have anything to do with us. It doesn't. It's not even one of our most commonly used.
You won't even say it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not something that comes up in conversation naturally with us. So I think it makes a lot of sense now that that had to be changed to something that's more localized. People had to.
And once we did that, it people identified a lot more. It felt like, at that point people started saying, "Oh, do you? That means you must have an office here." We're like, we've been here now. We've been here, and then that we are Afrobeats. I fought for that a lot. And it landed me on Netflix and all these other ones in the documentaries about Afrobeats, because true, we've been really a part of the story of the growth of Afrobeats.
Okay, so we've identified peak points. So let's come to the not
low,
so peak points.
Then plenty.
Not so peak points. So what would you say your challenges have been like?
We have like 4 hours, you said? No, so I think that, I'll tell you what, this might be surprising for you and others here. The one or two times in the many years I've been doing this, that we paid salary late when we were still coming up. And it might sound like, what am I stressing over? In Nigeria, they pay salary late all the time, etc. But for me, that most basic commitment that an employer has to somebody, to the people there, to spend their time and put their heart and effort into what they do, is, I won't use the word sacred. I'm not being too fancy about it, but it's very basic, right? Our responsibility is this, you do this. And something so impactful, right? So I had to, really be sure that, again, I was building systems, I had, the financial management right and everything, so that I could always do right by the people that work with me. And it's not because I'm a philanthropist, I'm a nice guy. It's because you get more out of people when you do right.
When you treat them right.
Simple.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So let's go into Afrobeats. I know that Afrobeats, I wouldn't say peaked, because, to be fair, there were so many instances. Like, I think that Afrobeats peaked in phases. To be fair, there was the what's her name? She's not exactly an Afrobeats artist, but she's African.
And say names.
Sade Adu.
Okay, of course.
There was her. Then there was Two-Face with African Queen. African Queen actually featured in Hollywood.
That's
this
right.
one I remember it very
that
well.
Is right.
The movie was showing in cinemas at the time.
Yeah. With Queen Latifah and them in Jamaica. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Then there was what's the name of this one? There was another. Oliver Twist.
Okay, yeah.
Then we now had like the Wizkid.
You're really pulling out those points. Yeah, you're right. Those were big moments.
Yeah, those were, as far as I can remember. There may be like earlier ones, but these are the ones that I remember. These are the ones that are in my memory. So how would you say that those things, those outward representations of Afrobeat, how would you say that it actually affected music in Nigeria?
That's actually a subtle question. Because I think a lot of us that put a lot of time and attention into the music itself, all of Una artists don't come for me, okay? But yes, we do feel that in some ways Afrobeats has peaked, or at least a period of it has gone through. And maybe even this might have been the second or third kind of period of Afrobeats. And it's changing now, it's evolving. Your question was, how did those moments affect it?
Like the creation, the distribution, all of that?
100. So one is that, well, I'll go with the most basic thing first of all. 25 years ago, you were more likely to receive a slap from your dad if he said you wanted to be a musician than anything else. Now I have parents bringing their kids to me like, I think you can sing. Half of them are very bad, but but you know, my son's singing da 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 da. I'm like, hey, okay, right? So every one of those moments where where the music has stood for itself, where the culture has stood for itself, has only encouraged more, right? But because country had, in more stable environments, people get into music or get into the creative industry out of passion. They love it. Could do nothing else but be a musician. Here, everybody wants to be in music because they see it as a path to making money.
Glamorous.
So it's the gold rush. It's glamorous, right? And every one of those moments that you talked about where it's been like, wow, look at how big this thing has only brought more people, gold rush, more glamour, more chasing the thing. And we're in a bit of a dangerous point right now, right? Because ultimately, you know, music is one of those things that, and music specifically, is one of those things that you love in a different way. I mean, I love money. I love, you know, my Range Rover. I love egusi soup. But music makes you close your eyes, and it's spiritual, right? And it's honest. Crappy music doesn't make it. You know, to me, I look at it. There's good music. There's fun music, and when they come together, that's when you have real magic. So we need to ensure there's substance in our music now, for it to continue to take its rightful place.
Yeah. So I think what I really picked from what you said is that there are different points where Afrobeats has actually peaked.
Yeah.
And this may not be the last.
Right.
This may be a point where, okay, yeah, this type of music has peaked.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows, there can be like an R&B revolution of Afrobeats in the next like 5-10 years.
Exactly.
We don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Especially with like the influence of social media now. There are some songs I've never heard in full. Like I've only heard the beats.
Right, you just hear
just the TikTok beats that people just pull,
and that's it.
I don't know what the full song sounds like. Sometimes I don't even know the artist. You can just recognize the sound.
I mean,
you can
true,
associate the dances with the sound, right? But there is really no like proper identity towards the person that sang it and the whole song. Nothing like that. So I do think that while there's a lot of rush, it also is kind of watering down our output as a people. I do think that it's also bringing people to a point where they're chasing virality more than anything.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to associate their song with a dance or with a storyline. Like sometimes it's just music.
It's okay, just make the music
soulful. Like you just want to listen to music. You want to hear the sound and just enjoy it. But I guess it's also fine chasing virality.
No, it's not. It's not a bad thing. And I mean, we can just go back to that very simple point. It is the music business. It's not just music.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
It is about capturing moments and so on. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So in your experience, I know that you definitely made a lot of right calls. For instance, Trace Naija. We are Afrobeats. Good calls, amazing calls.
I like this one. You just keep going back to what happened. Okay.
Yeah, so...
Bad calls, eh?
well, we need the full story. Like,
Yeah.
there's enough glam to go around. Everybody sees the glam. Everybody sees the nice pictures. Everybody sees the nice office. But we want to hear. We need the real gist. We know people are easily swayed by glam, and we want them to see that beyond the glam there is a lot of hard work that goes into.
It's the real deal.
Yeah. So what would you say is a mistake that you made, but at the end of the day it was like, nah, was this really a mistake?
Okay, so we do a series of kind of what I guess I'll call marquee or flagship projects at Trace, over a year. We just started a year or two back. We started doing a Trace Awards. We've done two. We stumbled a little bit. Starting things is not easy, but we'll be back with 3 soon. Here in Nigeria we do Trace Live. We just did one on Friday.
I didn't get an invite. Well,
you didn't get it?
I didn't get an invite. And I know it was Tiwa. It's fine.
So call Tiwa now if she didn't invite you. I don't understand.
How would I call her?
I don't understand.
How does she know me?
Why not?
Why would she know me?
Maybe she listens to the podcast. Tiwa, dial me. Call me up. We'll talk, babe. So and there's been periods when we've questioned doing that show for the profitability, for etc. And see, the challenge with business and always is that's what it is business, is when things are tight, as this economy has made things tight for everybody, you get confused, right? Because you're desperate to make that money, you're desperate to make that deal. I'm never embarrassed about talking about money. Sometimes people come to me and like, oh, this thing's going to cost money. I'm like, everything costs money, no problem. How much is it? We can do it or we can't do it. It's not. I'm not going to sit there and whisper about it, right? But it can be very, very tricky. So, we made a call to stop some stuff because it wasn't profitable enough, right? Meanwhile, that was like the most powerful things we were doing, right? So if you sit there and you're there counting the beans and saying, well, we didn't make enough, it's supposed to be X profit, we can't do this show because of that. I've made that mistake over and over again. They say if you do something over and over, you're a bit wacky. But what I'm saying is that I've made that mistake multiple times, taken my eye off of what's very important. Just like they say that the concert business, okay, for anybody, sorry, I'm being very deep into entertainment. The concert business is ultimately real estate, right? It's the same business as real estate. You're just selling that seat for 3 hours during this performance, etc., right? And you got to know that that's your business. Your business is filling up the space, right? It's keeping the essence of what you're doing clear. Sorry, I know it's a lot of English, but
I understand you clearly. Okay. I do understand you clearly. So it's how do I rephrase that so that everybody gets it? So I would say that the music, you've made some mistakes, and by putting money first ahead of like the essence.
We're in the culture business. We're in the music business. It's got to be about that first.
Sometimes you have to think about it, like what is most important. This is not just actually limited to the music business. This is something that is advice that is applicable to so many different
across
fields.
The board.
So it's like, look at the core, the essence of your business. Look at it and see, okay, is this enough for me to put money ahead of it? If you're in the business of community-based things, right? If at a point your revenue starts to decline because people can no longer afford to be in your space, say let's use a concert for an example. Say you are charging 50,000 for a ticket, and people can no longer afford 50,000 for a ticket because there is like disposable income is really
time hard now.
Down. Exactly. So you say, okay, if people cannot pay 50,000, they should not come.
Right.
I will still sell my tickets for 50,000. If you don't have money, don't
Too bad.
come. So that way you are losing a fraction of your audience. You're losing the essence of your business, which is community. So how about you think about it in a way like, okay, these people have been giving me 50,000 in the last 3 years. This year, let me do it this way. Let me give it to them as something 25K.
Let's 35
let's do 40%. Let's do 30%.
Or 50K and you get food or something to make them...
Just give them something to make them feel valued, to feel seen, to want to spend that
their
money,
hard-earned money on you.
You need to justify. They need to justify the spend, and you also need to justify the spend because times are very hard.
And I'll add something slightly to that. You know, Trace is a popular brand, and I know it, and we know it. But people are not looking for us, right? You don't sit there going, "I must watch a Trace thing. I must watch this." We're not. I don't want to use old references. People will abuse me. We're not whatever TV. Oh, we're not Big Brother, right? Right, where you're looking and waiting for it, and that's cool. You got to understand where you are. So it's also being clear what you do, the essence of what you do, and why people are looking for you, what they're looking for, so you meet their need.
Exactly. This is. I'm sure you will say, "Oh, is it only like the things that you've done wrong?" I'm asking you about, but don't be angry. We still have some more questions like that. What's a tough call that you've had to make? What's a really tough call you've had to make? Like, even if it didn't give you the result that you wanted, but still a tough call.
Okay. So if anybody has spent any time maybe Googling me or knows what I do, on paper I've been with Trace for a long time, 14 years I think. Okay. But the truth is that I had my own company before that, the first half. And by 2018, 2019, I sold the company to Trace and joined them. And at that time, I had to make the decision whether to take money and no longer own the company. I now am a shareholder in Trace, so of course there was that trade-off. But we were also forced to cut costs. So we sacked 14 people, right? That when we were done and said with it, and it was tough. It's tough, I talked about earlier just paying salaries late, so much less think of letting people go in mass who helped build something. Some of them got some money, some of them, they all got treated right, but some of them got, little bonuses and everything. So that was a very, very tough call. And I speak to that because that's one of, a thing that I remember, that big change. But it's the path is laden with tough decisions like that all the time. Whether to be more efficient, save some money, invest in this or don't invest in that, especially in media, especially in entertainment, right? Please don't take this the wrong way, especially anybody that works with me. You can literally find a job for an infant, right? In entertainment, there's always something to do on set. There's always something to do, and that has to be very, very carefully managed, where you're putting the money, where you're investing it, especially in Nigeria, right? There's so many great content creators making podcasts and clips and movies and stuff. Just to make money on that stuff is not easy. So, we've got to really be thoughtful about it when you...
Okay, as somebody who has been in media, entertainment for at least 14 years, at least.
Thank you.
At least 14 years. What would you say is the most common misconception about being in the media business, being a musician, being a creative?
Right. Specifically, it's the very thing that attracts a lot of people to it is the biggest misconception, which is that it's just a life of glamour, right? I literally have friends who, are EDs or MDs at banks or whatever, and even if they know it's not the case, somehow they just still believe that really all I do is go to the club and pop bottles. That's my job, right? And even for WizKid, it's not all that, right? Artists are, maybe the way they spend their hours is different, but they're hardworking group of people. It's not an easy thing. They have to take it seriously when they're listening to music, to hear what's out there, what kind of sounds are going on in the studio. You can be in the studio for days and weeks on end. It can be psychologically damaging. They need to look good. They need to exercise. They need to keep their voice training up. They need to keep up. There's so much to do. So while entertainment can be extremely rewarding, it can be extremely glamorous, you can make a lot of money doing it, behind the scenes, just be ready to do actual hard work.
Yeah, to do the work. Honestly, like it's so. I had an episode with someone from Tech Cabal, and I was speaking to Zikoko, and I was saying that Zikoko looks like a company where everybody just comes, they just laugh and go home.
Yeah.
And as somebody in marketing, I would know that people always just think, for instance, that all you do is just come to the office, make a TikTok,
do some social media posts,
exactly,
and you're done.
You just go home. Everybody thinks it's like that. They forget that there is a lot of scripting that goes on behind that. There is multiple takes. You have to shoot over and again. There's the editing. There is the copywriting. There is the...
You're still even talking about the nice
advertising.
The nice parts. You're still even talking about the nice parts. What about the budgeting and the annual reviews and the return on investments, investing?
Yeah. So it's a lot of work. Like everything looks nice on the internet. Trust me. Everything looks so nice.
That's
it looks
the
like,
phrase.
Wow, this is so cool. I want to work here. I want to be... You will suffer. You will suffer. You actually
it's a
will
real
suffer.
business.
It's work.
It's a real business, and especially
it's back-breaking work.
Yeah, and especially as we, people are putting more and more and more attention on it. The more important
it becomes more saturated.
Exactly.
It becomes more saturated because everybody wants to be a musician. You've said now that in the last, or rather in the last 25 years, you'd hardly see parents that wanted their kids to do music. Now, parents are bringing their children to do music because there is an idea that, this is now a real career. It's a real career. People are actually making money. They're taking on nice trips. They're going on tour.
On all that. They go on Insta and post this and that.
Every day, they're in different locations. It just looks like such a fun life, and everybody wants the best for their child. So even if your child sounds like a frog, you'll be like,
you're the best singer in the world.
There are some artists that sound like frogs. Anyway, he can be the next one on that. So
who knows?
I guess it's a short. It's a short size.
I think you named some names, the artists, just when we're off camera. You said,
I did not say anybody.
Okay.
I did not say anybody. No, you can't trap me. I love every single artist in the world. Even the ones that don't know how to sing. I'm their fan. I'm their fan, please. So now that we've identified like the misconceptions, I would also like to say that I think that those misconceptions also bring in a new challenge to the industry, because it creates more work in terms of filtration, to filter the noise, to know like what's actually bringing in money, what's actually moving this business into a global business, beyond the noise, beyond the local noise, because things how do I explain this now? What's happening in Nigeria is worlds apart from what's happening in Ghana. You can get to Ghana in 7 hours, but that doesn't quite quantify the difference that both countries face. So I do think that it gives us this idea, this false sense that we're doing great, we're doing amazing, but it gives us a false sense that we're the only ones that are doing great work. We forget that there is a whole continent of 53 other countries that are working just as hard. So I think that misconception of we have all the glamorous popular celebrities also makes us forget that there are other people that are putting in so much work, so much effort. And I think it makes it a little bit more complicated when we figure out that some of these countries are not English speaking. So we even forget
that you just forget them completely.
Yeah, those people even exist in the first place. So it is it is a very interesting, it's a very, very interesting landscape to be on. But Nigerians, I think we have, as a people, we are main characters.
Yeah.
We don't think
No
there's any
question.
other person or are the main characters. And we think, in our minds, I do believe that we think we're America. We do think we're America. And it's fine. Like, there's a way they say these things about how if you believe it, you achieve, like all these motivational speeches.
Things, yeah.
You just believe that you can.
So I would put it a different way. I would say, number one, that you said that we believe we're America, which is very interesting. I'm actually involved in a project now where our whole goal is to help Africans look at ourselves differently, right? For too long, do we want to be Americans, or do we want, and you're right. So there's that aspect of the philosophy of how Africans think of ourselves since colonialism, blah, 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 right? But then specific Nigeria, we do have main character syndrome, right? Because we're loud, we're proud, we're popular. I mean, and
we're good at it.
And we're good at it. Oh no,
good.
no, we have that swag. We really got it. We really got it, right? And so because even if you take 10 Africans in London, first of all, 5 of them are Nigerian, and the other 5, including the Jamaicans, are looking at the Nigerians because we're about it. So there's that aspect of it. But you're very, very right. If we think it's our right and nobody's going to come and challenge us, we're on something
people working
wrong.
just as
Welly,
hard.
And
Just
they're getting
as
very
hard.
good at many of these things.
Yeah, and another thing about entertainment is how people can, I think they call them culture vultures. They will steal your swag, and they will beat you at it. They will beat you at it.
Well,
so,
and it's real to a degree, right? Because I don't like to bring down any of us. I just, like I said earlier about business is knowing exactly where you sit. And I've told people for many years that there's artists, there are French African artists who are as big or bigger than our biggest artists, right? There's a guy named his name is going to escape me this very moment. I'm about to say it, right? But he sells out. He's been selling out Stade de France for 10 years, right? He has songs with Elton John and so on. Please do some research so I don't sound like I'm fantasizing here. They'll soon tell you who.
We'll tell you who it is. So now what?
Maitre Gims.
That's his name.
Yeah, Maitre Gims. He's just one of them.
Okay, I've never heard that.
Stromae.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Stromae is great. It's Belgian.
Yes.
So we shouldn't be here that we are the only ones that things are happening.
Yeah, lots of people are doing things, and lots of people will still do things, because the thing about being the blueprints is that you can very easily stop being the blueprints, because a blueprint will get finished. Like whatever is on that print will get built one day, and your relevance will not really be as much as
100%.
Yeah. So what's your, in the next 5-10 years, what would you say is your prediction for the media, music, entertainment space?
Well, I mean, I won't even talk about the Nigeria versus the world versus Africa and the world thing, because things, actually I will speak about that for 1 second. I was in Tokyo a few weeks ago for that TICAD. That TICAD was where the empty Nigerian booth was. You remember that thing that trended? So I was there for TICAD, and the Japanese are sitting there going, we've been doing pop music since the 80s. So how do these Koreans come and do K-pop that's overturned us? They're the ones doing K-pop. And something became clear to me. I was like, well, guys, I said, as a Nigerian or an American or whatever, a non-Asian guy, I don't care whether you're Japanese or Korean or Taiwanese. You're just doing a type of pop to me. And likewise, for anybody in Asia and most people in Europe, They don't care whether we're Nigerian or Black American, or if you're from New York or Lagos. That's all pop. It's kind of just
it's just
pop.
a sound.
It's just a sound.
Yeah.
Right. So it's our own sound, and so whether in sound or in film, I think that the simple fact is that it's easier and easier to make content for everybody. Now AI can do it, even half of it on its own anyway. So the skills are going to continue to be very important in curating, in keeping the essence of what that that artist is doing, or something, because it's that essence that vibes with their audience, right? That's why you see something on TikTok goes viral, because that sound is there, the guy has the swag, it looks right, etc. You can't manufacture that. AI can't make that. A writer in a room 10 times removed from that can't make that, right? So it's that keeping tabs on the pulse and keeping the essence of that available. People can't watch more than 24 hours of content in a day.
Yeah.
People can't listen to more than 24 hours of music.
Yeah.
So if there is now 100 times more music, just means 99% of it is going to be not only
going to be heard.
not potentially not good, but not heard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you said earlier, it's saturated, right? It's getting more and more saturated. So you're gonna have to stand out more and more. You're gonna have to be smarter and smarter.
So I think this is a good point to also give advice to people that are trying to break into the music industry, people that are trying to break into entertainment in general. What would you say to someone who is on that journey of breaking into the entertainment industry, or who is just one step away from being in the limelight?
Sure. Well, first thing, get a lawyer, and not your cousin or your friend. Get a damn lawyer. Many lawyers will even do it mostly for shares or on commission.
Equity.
Or get a lawyer, please. I'm begging you, right? I know. I almost just said the name. My people would have arrested me. Enjoy complaining about their contracts and this person screwed me. The contract was there for you to read. So it's the stupidest thing to keep getting into that same trap. So especially if you've been doing well, things are moving, go and get your house in order and clear that stuff up, because that will come back and get you 100 times. So go back and get your house in order. Was it P Prime or Neptune, or I can't remember which producer was, or maybe it was SARS, talking about when he first blew and he was making $20,000 on something, then he thought he had really made money when he was making $100,000. Then a year later he was in the US and somebody was making $2 million, and it was they weren't doing what he had done, but because of the contract, so that's number one. Number two, do whatever you can do. I know it's hard to understand what I mean by it, but do whatever you can do to keep focused on the craft, on the craft of it. If you're making music, if you're making content, that you don't have all these distractions, so you can just focus on making that. It's not easy, because you might get hungry, you might be desperate for budget to cover something, this or that. But find your way. That's your job. That's the whole struggle that you have to get through, right? But keep it focused on the content, and really, really good content. And when I say really good content, especially when I talk about visual content, it doesn't have to visually look beautiful. It just has to be funny or relevant, or whatever
engaging.
It is. It has to be engaging. Otherwise it's not connecting, right? So that's the the key to me is get your house in order, keep focused on your craft, and you gotta grind. For music artists, I do have one specific advice. Go to even the beer joint down the road from you and see if every Thursday or Friday they'll allow you to perform 20 minutes. Okay. Play your CD, shout a few songs. Maybe somebody will hear you, but trust me, at least you will get better in terms of performing in front of people. It's a craft. It takes real, experience. Go ahead and do that thing. Guys will give you 20K a week, right? At least something coming in from what you're doing makes a big difference.
Amazing. We've come to the end of the episode. Unfortunately, I wish I could go on for longer because I do have like some questions just popped into my mind while we're answering some of the questions here. But I don't want to make this too long because I want people to. I know,
get bored.
I know that people don't have the best attention span, so I think it's best to keep this at this point.
Yeah.
But what I think that we can do is that we'll definitely make the comments open so that people
100.
can ask questions, and someone will answer as many as he can. So if you're trying to break into the
go on.
if you're trying to break into the music industry, if you're trying to break into the music business as a producer, a manager, a whatever, this is definitely the episode for you. The last bit of this, the advice to musicians, I do not think I've heard that before. It's very obvious, but I've actually not heard anybody say it. Just perform, do your craft, let people see you in action. Stop waiting for that big break. Stop waiting for that. Just work with what you have. This advice is beyond music. Work with what you have. That's always going to be good advice. It's not you don't need to have all the tools. You don't need to have all the eyes on you. The content, people can spot talent. People can spot talent when you have put something out and it sounds like with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, this person can do XYZ.
Completely. People have an instinct for it in a sense, so you just got to keep doing it and
you have to keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. Keep your head down, keep grinding. There's no free publicity, there's no free money for anybody.
Well, let me say two things about that. Trust me, artists in the US that you believe is wonderful, something, do the same suffragment that we do here to blow. People, but free money, at least do some research on grants. There's grants available all up and down for musicians, $2,000, $3,000 for artists, musicians, content creators. Research grants. Just Google it now. No. Which grant can I get as a young Nigerian? Trust me, there's money out there.
Okay, so I was wrong. There is free money. There is free money, and you should definitely hop on that boat so that you can advance your craft. So thank you so much, Samuel. This was so nice. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Samuel was so patient, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that this episode came to be today. So I will see you. Not we. Why am I always saying we? He's not going to be here.
She will see you.
I will see you in our next episode. Remember, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And follow us everywhere at Cafe One Pod. See you in the next one. Bye.